Thank you.
Thank you. In fact, just one thing, it just struck me that this is actually a debate that now you're actively seeing in the West. In France, you've seen the yellow vests have come out as the president has tried to implement various environmentally friendly norms on taxation. So I thought actually I'd let Sofal have the last word on just, I think sustainable living and how pragmatic that might be in the current world we live in.
Right, well, before I just do that, I will say that since you were talking about Guinness World Records, Cambodia has recently acquired a few which have nothing to do with good things like ecological whatnot. That's the biggest dragon boat in the world, and the biggest cake in the world, rice cake, and the biggest line dancing, and it's just ridiculous because it's, again, the authorities trying to do bread and circuses for their people, entertain them so that they will pay attention to nothing else, and therefore not ask about democracy, not ask about all the problems that are happening in the country. That, having said that, you were asking about sustainability. I will say, look, I mean, the one thing when I ask my students, what is the one thing biologically that doesn't stop growing, just keeps growing and growing and growing, right? This is a metaphor of what economic growth is required for continuing our consumption-based economy. Well, the one thing that doesn't stop growing is cancer. And if we're thinking about the economy as a kind of cancer, that's obviously not a great thing. We should be thinking of it as something that's not destructive and that's not going to end up destroying the earth. But even then, you're absolutely right. Look, climate change is going to impact planet Earth. It's not going to, the Earth will still be here. We just won't be able to. That's the bottom line. The Earth will be fine when we're gone. And that's not what we want, obviously, as a species. We need to continue living. Now, as an answer to the question of how sustainable, how can we live in a way where we can still, not have to, for example, wash our clothes with our hands? Who here wants to, dispense of their washing machines, for example? Who has the ability to say, well, you in the developing world should not all have washing machines. You should be washing your hands through manual means. And that is the one thing that has liberated, especially women, more than anything else. The time used in doing these household chores has been horrendous. So I don't think I'll be the first to say, I'm sorry, you can't have your washing machine. But perhaps we need to think about whether everyone needs to have a car. 9 of the 10 most polluted cities in the world are here in India. And that's something that ought to be really different, I hope, very soon, because it suggests a unsustainability when it comes to emissions that will reflect very poorly on young generations that have asthma and that won't be able to live in this environment.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank each one of you for sharing your valuable inputs and insights, and it's an honor to have you all here. And there has been a great exchange of ideas and thoughts, I believe. Thank you once again. And we have another session lined up at 3:30 p.m. on prisoners of conscience, guilt or politics. Hope to see you all again then. Thank you so much.